Hello there. Welcome. Come on in, sit down, get comfortable. Hopefully, you've got your favorite cup of tea. I'm such a tea fan. And welcome to Stop People Pleasing and Reclaim Your Energy. Boy, this is a subject so near and dear to my heart because I call myself a recovering people pleaser. I was a people pleaser for many, many, many years and realized that it's something that many of us breast cancer survivors have in common. And the reason that it's so important, and it's what you're going to see today as we continue, is that habit is draining your energy. And right now, I know that you need more energy, probably more than anything, right? So for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Karen Del Maestro. I'm your health and transformation coach, breast cancer and BRCA2 thriver, and I am here to show you how to take care of you first. So I invite you to hang out with me. I'm going to keep this hopefully to about 30 minutes. Those of you who know me know that I can sometimes get a bit carried away, but that's my goal with this class for you today. So I want to start off by introducing you to a concept that I use frequently. That for me, I'm a very visual person. And so for me, it makes sense, right? So I'm going to start by doing a little diagram for you. And please be kind because I am not an artiste by any stretch of anybody's imagination. But I use this visual to really give you an idea of what's going on with your energy. And we'll refer back to it as we go through today's class. So I invite you to think of yourself. Ooh, we're going to have a wonky one here, guys. Think of yourself and your body as a teapot. Okay, yes, it's maybe the Brit in me coming out. I grew up in the UK, been in the US now for 33 years, but you can't take the tea out of the girl, okay? So I invite you to think of your body as a teapot and your energy level as the tea in that pot. Okay, this is all about our energy, right? And so as we go through today, what I want you to be aware of is how these people-pleasing tendencies, and I'm going to go into what they are, you may not even recognize them yet. You may have an inkling. You might think that you can identify with this. You may not yet. That's okay. But I'm going to make it really clear for you so that you know if this is really your habit or not. And the problem becomes, right, when we're carers, when we're givers, when we naturally take care of everybody, it's so easy to just put ourselves on the back burner, right? To not take care of ourselves. That's what I used to do all the time. I tried it for decades. Didn't work particularly well. Because what happens is we end up drained and sucked dry and resentful and angry. And you might be feeling that way now. And as we go through breast cancer, one of the things I know for sure is that if nothing else, we have to learn to take better care of ourselves. We have to start prioritizing what we need so that we can be healthy again and live the life that, hey, that we fought hard for. You fought to be here. What do you want it to look like? What do you want it to be? We get to choose. That's the cool thing. We actually get to choose. And so, as you can see, right, your body is your teapot, your energy level is that level of tea. And so I want you to keep in mind that visual as we go through here. So you may be asking, Karen, you're using this term people pleasing, but what does it actually mean? Right? Well, often people pleasers are people who put other people's needs before their own. I've spoken to thousands of women in the 20 plus years that I've worked in health and wellness who do this. thousands who are constantly putting everybody else's needs before their own. It's kind of a little bit in our DNA, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be that way. And I think so often we feel like it can be selfish, right? If we take time for ourselves and don't focus on others. I think that's something in society that we've kind of learned. We've also learned it through, whatever our families are passing down to us. A lot of cultures are, you put other people before you and it's selfish to focus on you. And so, we kind of inherit all of this stuff and just keep going with it, not realizing that it can actually be different. I'm proof that it can be, as are the hundreds of women that have gone through my coaching programs who have also done the same. Okay, so keep that in mind. So let's go through some of these actual things where you can identify whether or not you might be a people pleaser. So get your fingers going, okay? And let's start off, and yes, I have these written down because I can't remember them all, so forgive me for that. But I'm human and also a breast cancer survivor, so my memory's not what it once was. Now, here are some signs that you might be a people pleaser, and let's see if you can identify with them. You might feel absolutely crushed when somebody doesn't like you. You might feel that it's important to be friends with everybody, or at least get along with everybody, and that you just want everybody to like you. You don't like to make enemies. And when you find out that somebody doesn't like you, you take it really personally, really hard. It's very heartfelt. Okay. Number 2, you go to great lengths to avoid conflict. I used to do this all the time. And in my first marriage, people said, Karen, why did you get out of the marriage? You guys never argued. You never did. No, because I avoided the conflict. Nobody knew. Inside, I was walking on eggshells. I was afraid of saying the wrong thing, afraid that it might turn into something bigger. And that was my people pleasing, not necessarily that my ex was going to take it the wrong way even, but it was me needing to avoid conflict. Conflict for me was very, very uncomfortable. And so I did everything in my power to not let that happen. Right? Suck it up, avoid it, put up with it, tolerate things that there's no way I tolerate today. Right? I think that's many of us. You may find that you live life to make everybody else happy. Sound like you? Especially after your cancer diagnosis, perhaps. Right? You're constantly thinking about how other people are perceiving you and thinking about you, and if they're happy or if they're having fun. And so often, as a mom, it means that you're, especially as a mother, right? You're sacrificing your own needs to make everybody else happy, putting your needs on the back burner. I remember having a chat recently with one of my clients, Beth, and we were talking about self-care. We were talking about the difference that it made. And she, like me, is a recovering people pleaser. And many of my clients are. I think it's like a secret tribe that we're all in because we get it, right? We understand it when you that's been your habit. You understand it, and so I think a lot of people are drawn to me for that reason. And so we were talking about self-care, talking about how has it changed. The things that she does. And one of the things that she said to me, and it will always just stick with me because it was so jarring. And she said, Karen, you talk about not being at the top of the list, right? That there's a to-do list. And you talk about being at the bottom of the list and putting everybody else before you. And she said to me, I realized now that I wasn't even on the list. Can you relate to that? Not even on the list. You're not even thinking about yourself. Your time, your energy is all focused on everybody else. So I want you to think, we've talked about a couple of things so far that I'm going to talk about more, but worrying about if people are going to like you or not, avoiding conflict, making sure that everybody around you is happy. What do you think is happening to that level of tea in your teapot when you are stressing and stewing and thinking about these things? Is that level of tea, your energy, is it increasing or decreasing? Right. Sucking you dry. It's sucking you dry. Keep in mind that where our mind goes, our energy flows. Where our mind goes, our energy flows. So when we're stewing and stressing and feeling aggravated inside, but we're not expressing it, this is energy that we're using. And so our tea level of tea in our teapot is going down and down and down. I hope that makes sense, right? Now let's continue on these signs that you may be a people pleaser. You hate saying no. Hate saying no. Don't even know how to say no. The thought of letting somebody down and saying no kind of makes your stomach turn, gets knots in your stomach. You may often find yourself saying yes when you really want to say no. I used to do that so much. And what was funny was, for me, I realize now that inside, when somebody would ask me to maybe go to an event with them or something, or out to dinner with somebody, and I'm like, inside, I'm like, that person is so draining. I feel so toxic when I'm around them. That's my insight. That's what I would be saying. And yet what would come out of my mouth? I would smile and go, sure, that would be great. Thanks. Do you ever do that? And then what I would do is I'd then beat myself up. Karen, why'd you do that? You know that person is going to suck you dry. But I would still show up. I'd still go through it. I would still, to just make them happy without focusing on me at all. And that is sucking your energy dry. Always did, always will. And you may have gotten away with it before breast cancer, but now you can't. You just can't anymore. It's time to start putting you on the list. It's time to start taking better care of you. Because if you don't change anything, the chances of you getting sick again are just as high as they were before. Now, for me, that's important. I'm doing everything I can. Carry the BRCA2 gene. So my risk is really high. But I do everything I can to not get this disease again. And I share everything that I learn with you so that you get to make that decision too, if you want to. Right? This is what I teach in my Thrivership School. And in fact, when we're talking about saying no, Thrivership School is a 12-month program. We spend 3 months talking about and learning how to say no with ease, without feeling guilty, without feeling that we're being bad or disappointing something. It's such a huge part of stepping away from these people-pleasing tendencies. I used to really struggle to do it. I don't anymore. In fact, something probably a little bit strange about me that you may not know yet. Like, I celebrate when I hear a woman saying no. I celebrate. Yes, she's setting her boundaries. She's saying no. That's great. Even if she's saying no to me, I'm still celebrating. I want to see you doing that comfortably with ease, right? Without feeling bad, without feeling like you're letting people down, but actually standing up for yourself, right? Now, as a people pleaser too, you may take on extra responsibility. This is like prioritizing other people's needs before your own, right? You may be crazy overloaded with things to do, right? Maybe you've got a doctor's appointment. Maybe you've got to go pick up the kids. Maybe you've got to do this, go to the store, make the dinner, take care of the laundry, take care of some bills. And yet you want to make sure that everybody else is okay and taken care of, and that their teapot is full before you even think about your own. And you keep saying yes, and you keep adding on to that overloaded plate. My whole methodology is to lighten the load that you are carrying. Whew, lighten it, let it go, make life easier, make it simpler. I know when I got done with treatment and I went through that crazy time where I was crying at the drop of the hat, completely exhausted, drained, really uncertain and scared about what was coming next. Did not feel prepared at all, which is one of the reasons why I now focus on helping you at this time, because I did not get the support. And while I was feeling that, I remember thinking about an overloaded plate, right? And just feeling like everything was too much. I was barely hanging on like by my fingertips. And I started to think, what can I do to take things off that plate? And I realized that I already knew. Been doing this for 20 plus years, but I applied it differently and came up with a system to actually lighten the load that I was carrying so that I could focus on me, focus on getting my energy back. Because as we lighten that load, guess what happens to our tea level in that teapot? It increases. And that's what we want, right? We want more tea so that we can pour, because that's what happens. We can help others when we fill up our pot first. Very much the same as the oxygen mask on the airplane, where you have to put your oxygen mask on first. Now, I completely understand that that's not easy. That's why you need somebody to support you and take you through a proven process. And that's what I do in Thrivership School. I take you through a proven process over the period of a year. Treatment wasn't done quickly. Recovery doesn't happen quickly. So why not focus on the one thing about getting your energy back and work your way through a proven system? Now, this next one is one of my favorites. Again, I think as a Brit, and growing up in the UK, we have this chronic problem of saying sorry all the time. For some reason, John Cleese always pops into my head, sorry, sorry, sorry. Like it's such a British thing, right? Somebody would bump into me and I'd say, sorry, they're bumping into me. Why am I saying sorry? You may find that you do the same thing. Sorry, 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 all the time, right? Feeling like no matter what, it's always your fault, right? You might find yourself apologizing for things that don't need an apology. Do you notice that you do that? Have other people pointed out to you that you are doing that? More than likely. I want you to know there is no need to apologize for being you. It's true. You don't need to apologize for being you. You are beautiful. You matter. Quirks and all. It's what makes us unique and wonderful. Don't apologize for being you. Now, this one kind of links into this too, right? Do you find yourself seeking validation? Yeah, I think this is a chronic people-pleasing habit, right? Where you're constantly second-guessing yourself, wondering if you're thinking the right things, if you're doing the right things, opinions about how you dress, opinions about what you should, and should is a judgment word. It's like a really good, if you notice yourself saying the word should a lot, then you're looking for validation, right? And so when we're looking for this external validation from people, it stops us from believing in ourselves. Puts our power in everybody else's hands. Now, is that topping up your teapot, or are you giving away that tea to those people that you're seeking validation from? Of course we are. We're giving away our energy. We're giving away our power. We're giving away our confidence. And I know that from experience. I used to have Zero self-confidence, zero. That came through starting to focus on me, practicing daily self-care. And self-care leads to self-love, which leads to self-acceptance, self-compassion, and self-confidence. So if you want self-confidence, you need to follow the roadmap. You need to follow the system. Again, this is what I'm teaching inside of Thrivership School, my group coaching program. Now, another sign that you might be a people pleaser is that you don't share your true feelings when someone hurts you. You brush off your feelings, almost like they're an inconvenience. Like, no, that's okay. And you don't want to upset the person that's hurt you. You don't want to hurt their feelings. So you kind of just suck it up because you don't want to make them feel bad. So you suck it up and you keep your emotions inside. But what that leads to is hurt and pain and anger and resentment, which over time is going to make you sick. We hold on to these emotions in our body when we are not processing them. We hold on to grief in our lungs. We hold on to hurt and heartache in our heart. And these two organs, where do they lie? They lie beneath our breasts. These are important. It's important to not be holding on to these emotions. So you may be thinking, ooh, that's a lot, right? That's a lot to change and let go of. And here's the thing, please understand, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, which is why Thrivership School is a year long, because that's how long it takes for me to support you to make these proven changes, right? To start saying no comfortably. And here's the thing, right? If we're saying no, who are we saying no for? Because one of the things that I notice when we are people pleasers is that we may not even know who we are now. Does that resonate? You may not even know who you are, what you want, what's important to you. And breast cancer can change that. It can change that. You know, we may see things very clearly now that weren't working so well in our life before, but now just become glaringly obvious. But you may feel stuck and not know what to do about it. So we just keep doing what we know. Again, this is not your fault. And I don't want you to judge yourself for it. It's from a place of observation and compassion and saying, you know what? Maybe it's not working for me. Maybe I need to try something different. It would feel really good to let go of all of that. I can tell you it does. It like so lightens the load that you're carrying. And if you're wondering, but is it selfish, Karen? I want you to think about this. Okay, go back to your teapot. Let's take you back there. Okay, so here we are back in our teapot, right? And all of those things we established are lowering our energy, lowering that level of tea. So what would happen if we topped up that teapot with self-care, with starting to put ourselves on the list, with taking care of ourselves better, eating better foods, moving our body, managing our stress better, setting boundaries, saying no, getting clear on who you even are. Who do you want to be as you move forward in this journey? Ask yourself these questions. They're big questions, but they're also what make us completely exhausted, right? Because we're spinning. And so where our mind goes, our energy flows. And so when we do these things, the things that I teach you in Thrivership School, and we're topping up our teapot, would it not make sense that we have more tea? to pour into everybody else's cup without feeling bitter and angry and resentful. Because when we're topping up our teapot and taking better care of ourselves, that level of tea is going to stay higher, that level of energy. We are going to have more energy to show up differently for everybody else. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question. When you show up with more energy, feeling more confident, feeling happier, not feeling as bogged down and anxious and stressed, how does it affect everything else in your life? How does that affect your significant other, your kids, your grandkids, when you're full of energy, when you're feeling vibrant, when you've got that sparkle back in your eye? It's always what I'm looking for, right? You want to be around people and people want to be around you. And then how do you think that affects your health? Your blood pressure is going to be lower. You're going to lose weight easier because you're going to find it easier to make healthy food choices. Because one of the things that I chronically see is when we're people pleasers and we're making dinner and well, I don't like this, I don't want that, well, we're doing that. So what do? We cook a meal to make everybody else happy. And then in our head, we're saying, but I know that if I want to help lower my risk of getting sick again, I need to eat differently. I need to eat healthier. But as a people pleaser, that decision becomes really difficult when we're focused on making everybody else happy. So even being able to make that shift and taking care of you, you get to make better food choices. It's as basic as that, right? Drinking your water, you sleep better. Your skin is better, your hair is better, your nails are better because you're taking care of you first. So your relationships improve, your health improves. Let's take a look at maybe your work or your job. Because when you're taking care of you and you're not as tired, you've got more energy, your teapot's full up. Do you think you show up better at work? Yeah. You're going to have better focus, less brain fog, sleeping better, eating better. All of those are going to affect your brain fog. You're going to feel more confident at work again, rather than feeling like everybody, is she making a mistake? What's she doing? Being concerned about even if you're going to be able to keep your job. There's this trickle down effect of what happens when you take care of you. It's been proven, not just by me, but by the hundreds of women that I've worked with who have embraced this notion that it's okay to take care of you first. Because what actually happens is it improves every single area of your life outside of that. So I want to ask you a question. I want to know if you want to keep going down the path of people pleasing. And if you do, that's your choice, and that's okay. And think about where you'll be a year from today, and if you want to be in that same spot. This is your choice. Or would you like to talk to me about how I might be able to support you in Thrivership School and see if it's a good fit for you? And let go of those people-pleasing tendencies, just the way I have, just the way Beth and my other clients have. Let go of them and start to be at the top of that list. That's your choice. Nobody can make that decision for you, including me, right? But if you're ready to say yes to you, to taking better care of you, to do what you can to not get sick again, then I'm going to make sure that wherever you're watching this little class, that you can book a free call with me It's free. There's no obligation. We get to chat about, and know, please, that if I believe that Thrivership School is a good fit for you, that I will be extending an invitation. It's an invitation. You get to say yes or no. That's all. And don't forget, I'm okay with hearing no. But if I think it's a great fit for you, I would love for you to say yes. And I would love for you to say yes to you. Because you deserve it, because you fought really hard to be here. And I can't do this for you, but I can support you every single step of the way so that you're not going through uncharted waters on your own. Okay, just click the button. It'll come up with a calendar where you get to choose a day and a time in your time zone. So you don't need to stress about time zones. It's going to show you exactly what your time zone is. And then you set up a call with me. It's a video call. It's via Zoom. No hair or makeup, no glam team needed, right? We're not the Real Housewives. So we're real people over here, right? And we sit and have a cup of tea and a chat. We talk about where you are now, where you'd like to go, what's keeping you stuck. Is it these people-pleasing tendencies? And can I support you to get unstuck, get your energy back, start to do life differently, where it feels a lot more balanced, a lot easier, and a lot lighter as you lighten the load that you're carrying. Okay? Click the button now. Book your call. I can't wait to chat to you. Can't wait to connect with you. And I hope that we're doing this face-to-face soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much for watching.